guys! Hello gorgeous! I've done a couple of epic-sized videos over the past few months, so I thought I'd do something a little smaller for today's video. Actually, much smaller. Taking a look at the adorable Mega Construx Heroes He-Man figure. I saw this at a local toy show for only $10 Canadian. What a steal!
Doesn't sound like much of a bargain.
That's because you're still on 1982 currency, He-Man. I'm normally not into these kinds of miniature figures, or figures like Lego or pop vinyls, but when I saw this little fella, I thought he'd be perfect for my Icon Heroes Castle Grayuskull statue.
That's a good idea.
The packaging clearly displays what you're getting. A stand, shield, the Sword of Power, and He-Man himself. And even though figure packaging rarely has customized art like in the 80s, the sculpts on the figures themselves have gotten so good, they can actually get by with just using a picture of the figure, and it's almost the same effect. He may be the most powerful man in the universe, but one thing the power of Grayskull has rarely been able to help He-Man conquer is a card bubble.
It's no use.
For that, we'll need to call upon the Power Knife. By the power of Exacto! Kids, be sure to get your parents to do this part for you. Inside the packaging is a pamphlet that shows off some of the other figures in the line. There's Skeletor, a card and a board from Star Trek, and a Colonial Marine and Xenomorph from Aliens, and instructions on how to disassemble and reassemble the figure and accessories. As for the figure itself, I love it. Sometimes for a hardcore toy collector, we can get too used to chasing the big expensive grails and lose sight of what brought us so much joy as kids. The small scores.
Don't sell yourself short.
And although this guy is the size of a dime and costs less than a movie ticket, one thing is very clear.
It's not how big your body is that counts, but how big you are inside.
This guy just puts a smile on my face. Maybe a bigger one than some of the Masterpiece figures that were 10 times as big and 10 times as expensive. I wasn't expecting much here. I thought this was basically a Lego figure, but he's a lot of fun. He's got a ton of poseability. Much more than the original He-Man figures, in fact. Hip and knee bends, shoulder and elbow too, and his wrist can spin around. And his arm can even be positioned behind his back in a pulling the sword aloft pose.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!"
And his head looks left and right, and up and down a bit. The harness is made of soft rubbery material. Unfortunately, there's no loop to hook the shield onto though.
There might be another way after all.
You're right, He-Man. It doesn't look all that good, but the shield handle does fit in the hole in He-Man's back. The level of detail for such a tiny figure is astounding. Even his bracelet has detailing, and is a removable piece. I think fans of the old Micro Machines toys would really appreciate this figure. The stand is really easy to assemble. It reminds me a lot of Lego. The foot pegs in snugly, and can securely hold the figure even with only one foot attached. Ready to kick some sense into those evil cads. The hands are reminiscent of Lego figures as well. They firmly grip the power sword, and the shield is easy to assemble too. You just plug the handle in, and clip it to his other hand. Before we get to the main purpose I bought him for, here's a few size comparisons. No, this isn't one of the jumbo 12-inch He-Man figures from Matty Collector. This is the original He-Man, or rather a minty fresh reissue, which shows you just how tiny the Mega Construx figure is. And here's the Classics He-Man figure as well. And how does he scale with the Icon Heroes Castle Grayuskull?
Let's take a look.
Magnificently! I've had this piece for a few years now, and although I've enjoyed it, I always thought something was missing. I've tried some of the other mini He-Man figures out there, but none of them seemed quite right. And I wasn't sure how this cute little rendition was going to mesh with the very grim look of this statue. But I think they go together perfectly. It evokes the same look of the original Masters of the Universe series for me. The dark, foreboding Castle Grayuskull, with this bright and fun hero standing in front of it. Classic yin and yang. And the scale is perfect too. In fact, better than the scale of the original figures to Castle, or the 2000X series as well. While He-Man's head is usually close to the top of the door on the other versions of Grayskull, this Mega Construx figure only comes up about halfway up the door. Maybe not perfectly scaled in terms of real life, but if you're going for somewhere in between toy scale and real life, then this is the perfect compromise. It just goes to show you, you can drop quite a bit of dough on a big, elaborate piece like the Icon Heroes Castle Grayuskull, but sometimes all you need is a little, inexpensive piece like this figure to bring it all to life. So don't worry if you don't have a lot of spare cash for those expensive collector's items. Sometimes the most powerful things come in small packages.
And by those standards, you're a real giant.
Till next time, this is Michael Mercy wishing you good health
and good luck.